Today, we will watch a video about the moment when thousands of Ukrainian drones attacked a Russian convoy near Kharkiv. The video begins with a dozen Ukrainian drones zooming toward a Russian convoy. The Ukrainian drone operators carefully select their targets. Meanwhile, the Russian armored vehicles were forced to stop, and the infantry dismounted to take cover in the trees. This movement is very chaotic. They don't understand what to do. Then one of the drones arrived. The operator drops a grenade from the drone. The grenade landed right on top of the Russian APC. The soldiers tried to find cover, but nothing worked. Another drone managed to catch up with them. At the same time, another grenade-carrying drone joined the attack. One of them hovers above the enemy and drops an attack. The ammunition fell nearby. An infantryman tried to get up after the explosion and appeared to be injured. Simultaneously, artillery opened fire on the Russian convoy's concentration. First, a cluster munition was fired. It literally rained down on the enemy. Look at how formidable the Ukrainian defenses are at this point. Then, the drones attacked. The enemy was destroyed. In recent days, the movement and concentration of resources in northeastern Ukraine and Russia's Belgorod region suggest that Russia may be preparing to intensify its offensive against parts of Ukraine. Russia has reportedly amassed 500 tanks, more than 600 combat vehicles, hundreds of howitzers, and 40,000 troops for a ground offensive toward the Kharkiv region in eastern Ukraine. The Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategy says the Russian military plans to capture all of Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts and parts of Kharkiv Oblast up to the Oskil River. Several Ukrainian brigades are stationed in the north and south to defend Kharkiv and the surrounding settlements. This is a significant force, with approximately 20,000 troops and hundreds of tanks, armored vehicles, and howitzers. However, personnel and armored vehicles are not the problem for Ukraine. The problem is ammunition. The United States is one of the largest suppliers of 155mm ammunition for Ukraine's best big guns. Anticipating the impending offensive, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense has formed a new mechanized brigade and deployed it to Kharkiv to reinforce the garrison. Engineers are digging trenches and building bunkers. Perhaps most importantly, Ukrainian workshops are producing the first man-made drones loaded with explosives, with tens of thousands being produced each month. As artillery ammunition becomes increasingly scarce, Ukrainian brigades are increasingly sending FPV drones to Russia, sometimes thousands per day along the 600-mile front line. FPV drones allow external operators to see the drone's surroundings through special goggles. The drone's armament has been enhanced, transforming it into a kamikaze-style unit capable of accurately attacking enemy targets at high speeds. Ukrainian forces have detonated several Russian T-72 main battle tanks behind enemy lines during operations to evacuate other damaged armored vehicles from the battlefield. The Russian tanks, equipped with cage-like armor, were destroyed using FPV kamikaze drones purchased by the Foundation and provided to the military. However, The FPVs only have a range of about 2 miles, too short to target artillery, perhaps 15 miles from the line of contact. The drone operators quickly engaged a small Russian strike group that had been probing the Kharkiv sector for months. Although the bulk of Russia's offensive efforts have centered around the city of Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast, several elements point to a potential future intensification of the offensive against Kharkiv, in the northeast of the country. The Russian Ministry of Defense has also released footage showing upgraded T-90S tanks, originally intended for export but diverted for domestic use due to a shortage of combat vehicles and frontline units. Russia, grappling with an armored vehicle shortage after 2 years of heavy losses in Ukraine, has chosen to repurpose the T-90S tanks originally planned for export clients. The decision to repurpose the T-90S tanks for export underscores Russia's urgent need to bolster its armored capabilities amid the ongoing war. With resources depleted by the ongoing fighting, the military is now turning to exporting combat vehicles previously intended to support its troops. Since last month, Russian forces in Ukraine have lost more than 4,500 soldiers. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported that, in addition to the 4,540 soldiers, Russia has also lost 42 tanks, 103 armored fighting vehicles, 104 artillery systems, and 36 drones in the same time period. According to Ukrainian data, Russia has lost a total of 905,940 troops since Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the invasion on the 24th of February, 2022. Putin's military also lost 10,425 tanks, 21,670 armored combat vehicles, and 30,759 drones during the war. Ukrainian forces also repelled a Russian offensive near Zolota Niva in the southeast, the Ukrainian General Staff added in its report. Russian advances were also halted in the east near the Lyman front line, as well as several attacks in the southern Zaporizhia region, Ukrainian officials said. According to geolocation records observed by ISW, Russian forces made minor advances west of Bakhmut, while Ukrainian forces advanced southwest of Donetsk city. Fighting continued around the city near the villages of Bodanivka, Ivanivske, and Klishivka, the think tank added in its Friday assessment of the war. Heavy fighting was also reported around Avdiivka, an industrial village in the eastern region that has been a focal point of the war for months. ISW reports Russian advances north of Avdiivka based on geolocation records, and Russian military bloggers claim that Moscow is advancing into residential areas around the largely abandoned town.